All right. So some of the problems, so this would be a problem where, right, you have something squared is 29. So if you wanted to like think about this, maybe it's right? It's x times x is 29, right? It's got to be the same number. So you might think to yourself, hey, let's think about this logically. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. So x has to be between 5 and 6. And we could start trying out a whole bunch of numbers. But what I would like you guys to start recognizing, right? So, right, in order to solve this equation, the idea is that you take the square root of both sides. And so x is the square root of 29. Now, if we think about it, right, -5 times -5 would also be 25. And -6 times -6 would also be 36. So x is the square root of 29, right? But it could be positive or negative. So what you see sometimes in your math book is this plus and negative sign like on top of each other. And all that is saying is that it could be the positive value or the negative value, right? Now, if it already, that's when it's x squared. If it already has the radical in front of it, right? We put that radical there. It was not in the original equation. We put the radical. If the radical were already there, then you would know it means the positive, right? And if it wanted the negative, they put the negative, but it wasn't there. We started out with an equation. So it's going to be either positive or negative. Also, I'm hoping you start to recognize this is not a perfect square root. 25 is a perfect root, right? 36 is a perfect root. Any numbers in between are not perfect. And they are not rational. So you can't come up with 5.5. It won't be a terminating decimal. It will be a decimal that never terminates, it never repeats, it never ends. So we can only estimate it. And so we're going to estimate it to the nearest tenth. So if you see this, you can either leave it as a square root of 9, or we can say we're going to find out what x is approximately, right? And then we're going to figure out what the square root of 29 is. So we're going to come down here and think to ourselves the square root of 29. And we already came up with the idea that it's between, right, 5 and 6 on the number line. So square root of 25, square root of 36. And so the square root of 29, right? And if you think you're getting pretty good at it, I would say try it out, right? And then just check yourself when I get done. Square root of 29, so, right, if you had 5 more, that would be 30. 6 more, 36. So square root of 30 is probably somewhere close here in the middle. So square root of 29 is going to be a little bit more over here somewhere, right? So somewhere in here. And so I'm thinking 5.3 or 5.4, probably not 5.5, because that would be around 30. So that's what I would check on, right? So I would test 5.3 first, right? So I would take 5, pins are rolling in here, 5.3 times 5.3, and I would test that. That's 9 and 15, placeholder 15, 25, 26, 9, 10, carry the 1, 27, 26, 27, 28. Okay, move the decimal. Ooh, so, right, so now I just found out the square root of 5.3, right? That is 28.09, and that is, so 29 is going to be over here. All right, I'm going to start this one more time here.